Golly gee, it's a new episode of a podcast I like to call Ghoulish. I am Max Booth, an undead host, and on today's episode of the podcast, I have Leslie Julien talking about vacations. I know everybody listening to this show will always emailing me, when are you going to do an episode about vacations, Max? When are you going to do an episode about vacations? Well, calm down because I've done it. This is the vacation episode. And why did I do it? Well, to help promote and celebrate the current crowdfunding campaign for Leslie's comic Lost Lake. Issue 1 is being crowdfunded right this second. Ends April 11th. They haven't quite reached the goal, but they're getting pretty close. And I bet with a little help from my ghoulish audience, we can get him over his goal. How cool would that be? You can be a part of comic book history, folks. Doesn't get much cooler than that, I would say. So go ahead and back that Lost Lake on Kickstarter. I'll have a link in the show notes. And listen to my episode with Leslie about vacations. We don't just talk about vacations. We get into it, man. We ask some pretty deep questions, such as how do you define woods? And that's the only question I recall. I'm sure I asked him other questions as well. But you'll just have to listen to the episode to find out what those questions might be. How do you define woods, audience? I would love to know. Leave a comment on the place you're listening to this episode. Unless the place you happen to be listening to it doesn't have a comment section, then I don't know. You can find me on Blue Sky at Fuck Max Booth. That's really my only hangout spot online these days. But Ghoulish, we have spots on other places. On Blue Sky, it's just at Ghoulish. On Instagram and Threads, it's Ghoulish Bookstrel. We also have a Facebook page, but I think that's it. We said goodbye to X. We said goodbye to that a while ago, thankfully. If it was up to me, we would say goodbye to everything, and it would just be this podcast. But we got to promote the podcast, don't we? We got to promote it so more people listen to it, so we get more listeners, and the audience continues to grow. And when the time comes and I say, fight my ghouls, I will have a great skeleton army at my disposal. In this scenario, you guys have chilled into skeletons, or maybe you've always been skeletons. By the way, I wrote a new book. It's called I Believe in Mystical Bones, out now through Apocalypse Parody. I just now realized that book came out during my podcast hiatus. But yeah, new novel's out. I Believe in Mystical Bones. It's about a small press getting a little kooky with an unsolicited manuscript. And there's a cryptid in it named Mystical Bones. He steals your bones as you sleep. It's great. I mean, I wrote it, so take what I say with a grain of salt, and take that salt and rub it into an open wound and go, why did I do that? You shouldn't listen to everything a podcast host tells you. That's a life lesson number 1. Anyway, this is my episode with Leslie Julien about Vacation Hurl. Go help back his comic Lost Lake. So we're talking about vacations today. I feel like exciting topic. Do you like vacations, Leslie?
Yeah, who doesn't love vacation and not working? One of my favorite things in life.
I'll tell you who doesn't like vacations. People who work in the vacation business. Those people.
That makes sense.
Those people hate them. I mean, maybe they don't. Maybe they like working. I've never had a job that I thought I like this. This is good. Have you?
No, sadly, that is not the case. I wish it was the opposite.
I did like 8 years working the night shift at a hotel. I never went to the hotel thinking, I love hotels. But some people they love hotels when they stay at them. Not me. No, thank you.
Yeah,
Have you seen that HBO show, The White Lotus?
I really want to watch it, but I've not gotten into it yet.
It's all about vacations, man. It's right up your
And how
alley.
horrible they go.
Yeah, yeah. You love vacations. That's like the one thing I know about you.
Yeah, that's me to a T.
That's what
West of West
Miguel's
vacations.
always telling me. I'm like, hey, what's up with that Leslie guy? And Miguel's like, oh, he just loves vacations so
It's
much.
my defining trait for sure. West guy loves vacation. Can't get enough of them.
We're talking about vacations because you have a new comic called Lost Lake, and you will crowdfunding it right now for issue one. I think it
Yep.
ends on what, April 11th?
Yes, April 11th.
So do you
You
want to
know
talk
better
a
than I
little
do. Good
bit?
job.
I know everything. I just
You're
looked at it.
omnipotent.
I was like, I am gonna impress Leslie. I'm gonna look this up ahead
That
of
was
time.
impressive.
Thank you. For those who don't know about the comic, what can you tell us about it?
So Lost Lake is very much in the slasher genre. It's about these friends. They're like all college juniors that are going on like a girls trip to just decompress and get away from things. And they meet some guys along the way. And basically they're on a fun vacation. And it turns out they're in the same woods as a serial killer that is being hunted for. And things only get worse for them as they kind of set up in the woods, and things just slowly start to fall apart, unfortunately, for their vacation plans.
Yeah, that's the thing with vacations. Usually they end badly. They never go the way you expect. You never expect to
No,
go on vacation and
you
then
can't plan for
you'll
the
be
serial killer to
slashed.
be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, and understandably, you're gonna want to play some stuff as a mystery and not tell us everything. But this
Mhm.
this villain, is he like a typical slasher? Does he have a costume? Does he have a weapon of choice? Now I'm assuming genital too, and that's my bad. It might not even be a he. Who knows?
Yeah, you're right.
That's my bias.
The, I guess the killer who was yet to be named, yes, does have a bit of a costume and carries around a hatchet. So not originally I was gonna name him the Hatchet Killer, but he's known as the Hunter in the world that I've said.
It's a pretty good name. Hatchet's a good weapon.
Yeah.
You will do much activity with a hatchet, be filled.
I haven't
I
used the
do
hatchet much,
ask great
as much as I loved.
questions.
Yeah, you do ask great questions. As much as I love the hatchet by was it Gary Paulson, and always imagine myself getting long woods and having to rescue myself just using a hatchet. I've never used a hatchet in my life or an axe.
It's also maybe this was the movie you were just talking about, but isn't still a slasher movie about someone going on vacation called Hatchet,
Is
right?
there?
Yeah,
I
like
haven't
in
seen that one.
the
Okay,
early
I need to do some
2000s.
homework. I
Yeah.
need to do some homework and watch Hatchet.
I can't tell you if it's good or not, most likely not, but it
Doesn't
might be
matter.
it
I'm
might be
gonna watch
fun.
it.
Yeah, I think there's a
Yeah.
sequel. I mean,
Hell
there's
yeah.
always a sequel.
And it's my list right now.
This is stressful issue one, right? That you're crowdfunding.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
this is typically how you release comics because you've done other comics as well, but you've crowdfunded. What got you into like this method? How did you get into A, writing comics, and B,
Mhm.
releasing them through this method? Because I've had a mutual friend, Zach Chapman, on the podcast in the past. He also does
Yep.
the same method, and I just find it kind of cool and fun. Like, all you guys will kind of like scheming together to like make
We're
awesome
scheming.
little indie, maybe not scheming. I just like saying scheming. Just making all these cool DIY comics.
Yeah, I mean, I've basically been like making stories, since forever. I think the first comic I ever made was like Godzilla versus King Kong, and I should get the rights for that because I did it first, Universal. But basically been writing stories for forever. I kind of fell all out of it for a bit, but I think around college when Civil War was starting, I was like, oh yeah, like comics, and I started consuming them at a ridiculous rate. But I didn't really know how to write them. And my girlfriend, now wife at the time, was like, "Why don't you make your own?" And I was like, "But I don't know how." And I was like, "Oh wait, but you can go on the internet and figure this out." So I slowly started learning, how to write comics, and started writing 1-page comics and 2-page and 4-page and 8, and full length comics. But in terms of Kickstarter, it's just kind of democratized or leveled the playing field so much for indie creators, because making comics is expensive. It's a terribly expensive thing that you can do. So, hiring an artist, a colorist, an editor, a letterer, that can add up really quickly. So Kickstarter has helped to, you can kind of produce some preview pages, pay that out of your pocket. And then ideally, people are interested, like, hey, like they can help you fund the rest of that project. So I love Kickstarter for that.
Yeah, once Zach broke down the cost of one of the comics he was doing, I was just like,
Mhm.
not a chance. I am like
Yeah.
we feel that. I was like,
It's
oh,
like
maybe
a
I should
shitty car.
try.
You're
Yeah, no
paying.
way. Like the way they talk about it too, it's like there's no profit being made at the end of the day
Yeah.
with how
Profitless.
much
Yeah. I
this
joke.
shit costs. Plus, fulfilling all the the pledges and the
Hmm.
bonuses and shipping and Jesus. I've done one crowdfunding campaign and man, I way overpromised things and shipping destroyed me. It was not great.
Yeah, it's something I've slowly figured out. I mean, I feel like I'm still figuring out, but like in terms of yeah, getting like the estimates for shipping, and of course that all changes because you have a government that is imploding and trying to destroy the USPS. So maybe it'll get more expensive in the future and tariffs, but like there's kind of calculators to roughly figure out how much things are going to cost, and that's definitely helped me a lot. And using
Yeah.
like a service like Pirate Ship, and I know stamps.com or stuff like that, that can definitely help.
We use Pirate Ship as well for the publishing
Yep.
company we run.
It's
It's great.
awesome. Oh my
It's
gosh.
so good. It's saved us so much time. We used to spend so
Yes,
much
so
time at
much.
the fucking post office just standing in line. Now we walk in with these huge
Like
boxes.
goobers and now like yeah, it's the
You
best.
have like this smug face as you just cut in front of everybody and they just look at
Yeah.
you. I enjoy the
Dropping
look they
off.
give you. They because they think you're just cutting and they look at you like, are you
I'm like, oh no,
are you
no.
Yeah, it's pretty great. I do love
It
just
is.
making someone outraged, even, if I've done nothing wrong. It's just a little fun thing. Um, you said you
Yeah, adds a little
will
spice to life.
how you said when you were trying to figure out how to write comics, you went online and kind of
Mhm.
taught yourself. What type of resources did you find? Like what were the steps that you took?
So there's a kind of like a community or a website I found like early on. There's something called the Comic Jam, which is really cool. It was basically artists and writers getting together like weekly to like write just one page comics. So that was really one of the first things I did to cut my teeth, and that was really cool. I think some of my earliest comic collabs were people that I found on there. So yeah, but yeah, so the Comic Jam for sure. And then later on, there's something else I found. It was what's it called? But basically, there's another like similar website. You paid, I think, like a monthly thing or something, and there were like pros in the industry that would kind of help you through scripting and other things, coloring. It was really awesome resource. So I hope I can bring it back to my brain a little bit later. But that was something that was hugely influential because there was a lot of access to like scripts from like people like Brian K. Vaughan and just other pros in the industry. So looking at like say, oh, like this is what a script looks like. This is kind of the convention I need to follow more or less. Another huge help. And then of course books,
Yeah.
my hands on as many books on comic writing as possible.
Probably some good lessons on WikiHow as well. I bet, you
Oh
can
yeah,
really
well
teach
yeah, some
yourself.
solid stuff on there.
I'm sure they have some
In a
really
pinch.
questionable graphics as well.
I'm sure it's horrible now with all the AI stuff.
Oh no. Oh no. Didn't even think about
Yeah.
that. And that's something I'm sure is just plaguing the comic industry, right? I'm not in the comic industry. I don't know much about it, but I imagine like well people constantly getting busted for using AI.
Oh, for sure. You're definitely hearing, horror stories of even like, people doing stuff with Marvel, like
Oh
that's
shit.
AI that you're using on a cover. It's like that's depressing and demoralizing to see, like, pro level artists or, I don't know what you call it, cheating using AI,
Cheating,
something I would
yeah.
never do. You never used AI to touch any of my scripts and definitely would not want to work with an artist that, used AI for their work. It's moralizing, depressing, and I mean, it's just death throughout. So, like, everyone say no to AI. It's not good. No bueno.
Yeah. So let's talk about the team behind Lost Lake. You wrote it, but who else is involved? And how did you find them? How did you guys connect?
Yeah, so the artist I link up with Bugra, he's in Turkey. Let me see if I can try not to butcher his whole name too much, but yeah, Bugra Butahan Bara. I was just randomly like on Instagram basically, and I like came across his work, and I was just like, whoa, oh my gosh, like I basically froze like mid-action whatever I was trying to do. I was looking for an artist for a while. This project has kind of been in limbo for about 6 years. I was working with another artist who was incredible, but his day job is art. He just kind of unfortunately had to pull away. He wasn't able to continue, and he basically kind of gave me a blessing to find someone else to continue the story. And he kind of went to stay out of it, unfortunately, so he wasn't involved anymore. But for kind of thinking, oh, should I continue this project? I reached out to him and he's like, oh, dude, like you should still make it, like make this thing happen. But it took me a little bit of time, and I saw Gra's art, and I just thought like yes, like this is the person that's gonna help, Lost Lake come to life. And I'm very happy to been able to stumble across his art.
That's a long time. Like
Yeah,
the
it's
those
began then. Like it's
was the script done before those 6 year olds? So it's been 6 year olds of just trying to get the script. Uh
so no, the entire script wasn't done originally. Like I said, me and the original artist, we were gonna try to pitch it, and
mhm.
pitching is just it's a painful process. And unfortunately, like it's just the avenues we went to, either, they weren't interested, or like, like maybe our pitch wasn't where they wanted to be. But yeah, it just kind of languished for a while. Like I said, the original artist, he was really busy. And so like there were times like, oh, we kind of had to wait for his schedule to clear up. And it just things kind of petered out. And so I want to say last year I reached out to him. I was like, I found a method of writing where I was basically doing a lot of writing at work during my downtime, and I just cranked out like I want to say like the plan is a 5 issue miniseries, so I cranked out like 3 issues. I was like, hey, like I super excited. Like I was just like, screw it. I had kind of like a lull in my schedule. And I was like, I want to finish the story, so I had it outlined already. He saw the older outline, but I wrote it. I showed Zach, and Chapman, friend of the show, was like, "Wow, this is fun. Like, you should keep doing stuff with it." And so I reached back out to the original artist, and he was on board initially, but again, like he just kind of got bogged down with the schedule. So
Mhm.
I finished writing the series, and then I was like, okay, like I someone to make this real, like because the comic's not real once he got some art. So I found McGrath, and he said he was into horror, and yay, like we aligned
Hell
forces,
yeah.
and it's been really fun since.
You mentioned you found a way, like a method, I think you said, to write well at
Mm-hmm.
your job. I'm
Yeah.
imagining some type
Don't
of
tell them that.
Jules Constanza thing, like under his desk. Like, what's
A
is
little
it?
bit.
Do you want to get into
It's
it,
not too
or is this
dissimilar.
top secret?
No, I mean, my it's a joke. I'm not really serious, but basically, my system is to get my work done, and anytime there's any downtime, I'm pulling up my Google Docs and just writing as
Yeah.
furiously as I can before I get busy. And that's my secret system.
I mean, it's a good method. I when I used to have like a day job, although it was a night job, um, Google Docs was great because you can just
It's the
access it any
best,
place, man.
except for them being evil now. But yeah, I would
Yeah,
love the cloud.
yeah. What a great way to just knock out a few paragraphs on just like 5 to 10 minutes of downtime. It's pretty awesome. So that's who illustrated it. Who else is on the
Mhm.
team?
So currently it's just us.
Oh,
He
okay.
is kind of wrapping up some stuff, but I definitely have so many letterers to look at. But he's doing the
Mhm.
coloring, yeah. So like I just need to find a letterer. It's like the last missing piece of the team. But yeah, Bugrad's done a lot with the pencils, the inks, and colors as well.
Assuming that this is going to get funded. I mean, you have like a
Yes,
week and a
it
half
is.
left.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's like 13, 12, yeah, 12 days left and almost 70% funded. It's all only a matter of time. It's definitely funded.
Oh, absolutely. So what is the plan after that? Do you then like anticipate launching a second campaign for issue two soon after, or like I don't know how fast these things get done.
Yeah, so I see typically for me, like I at least want a few pages of art done before I mean, because you need something to show before I bother kickstarting. So it kind of depends on his schedule, but like, I would for me, I would wait at least 6 months, if not maybe till next year before I'm like ready to start crowdfunding for issue two.
Yeah. Now with Lost Lake, was there some type of specific like genesis of the idea that made it clicking in the head? It's like, oh yes, this is a comic I must write.
It's kind of funny. It just randomly started as the original artist was like, "Hey, like you want to work together?" I was like, "Heck yeah," because I love your art. And then we just kind of threw some stuff back and forth, and it kind of became like, "Hey, like let's do this slasher that has a pretty tropey start, but like we kind of hopefully get away from that a little bit towards the end."
Yeah. So is it a road trip to the woods? Is that right? The driving to
No, so it all takes place like at the lake. So like
Okay.
it's a pretty short amount of the story that they're traveling. But yeah, the crux of the majority of the story is them at this place called a Lost Lake, which is actually I found out through my research there's like a bunch of lost lakes in America. This one is kind of modeled after one in the Pacific Northwest, but like apparently there's like I said, a ton of lost lakes in America.
Does it have a specific in the comic, does it take place
Mhm.
in a specific town, state, region?
Yeah, like so modeling out for there's one in the Washington, like Mount Rainier area.
Okay.
So it's loosely based on that.
Yeah, some perhaps some Twin Peaks stuff going on. Who knows, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't say that to mutual friend Miguel. He won't read it. Are you a Twin Peaks fan?
Oh yeah. Actually, I'm much more of a fan of people inspired by yeah, David Lynch than Lynch
That's okay.
himself. I mean,
That's
I
okay.
obviously appreciate what he's done, but like I'd say like yeah, Gravity Falls and X Files, that stuff I appreciate a little bit more than
I
Twin Peaks, which I have watched and
Yeah.
not the hugest fan of, but I'm very
God damn
appreciative
it.
for its
God
cultural
damn it.
resonance.
I
Sorry,
have this
me and
long
Miguel are on the same
yeah.
wavelength.
Wasn't expecting this. I'm gonna cut all this.
You're done. It's over.
I can't
Can't use
let
this.
Miguel listen to this episode. He's gonna love it.
Yeah,
Gravity Falls is great. I love that show.
it's amazing.
Same with
I've actually
X-Files.
been watching it, rewatching it, seeing it with my kids. So they like somehow on their own have heard about it and want to watch it. So I'm super excited to do a rewatch.
I just began rewatching it with my stepson, with the DVD commentary, which is
Oh,
great.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
highly recommended. We're only a few episodes in, but I'm blanking on the guy who created it now. Alex something?
Alex, yeah, I know, right? Same, Alex something, but yeah,
I keep
he,
I,
he's
I keep
amazing.
thinking Alex Chilton, but that's the guy from
Oh,
Taskmaster.
Alex Hirsch. Alex Hirsch.
Hirsch, that's
That's what it
it.
is. Yeah.
Yeah. He does the commentary tracks along with a few of the other voice actors. It's really great.
Nice. Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
This is an episode on vacations, and before we began recording, I was trying to make a list of types of vacation, which seems really fucking tedious and boring. Uh, but I mean, what types of vacations come to mind? I mean, we have the lake, the cabin on the lake. That's the
Yeah,
classic. You
that's a
have
classic.
just a road trip, you know,
Road
um,
trip's a good one.
and also you have like an island, the beach, an
Yeah,
island, some
island
type
or
of
cruise maybe.
a cruise. And then those methods of vacation, right? So you do have cruise, you have
Hmm.
boat,
Yes.
plane, you can drive. What other types of vacations come to mind? This is what the people want to listen to.
I mean, you got I suppose a staycation. This is the kind of vacation you got. Staycation.
What exactly is a staycation? Is that just hanging out at home?
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
It's either hanging out at home or as some people say, like, no, you may go to like a hotel in your city or something like that, where it's like you're not really getting away, but you're out of your typical surroundings.
Have you done that? Have you stayed
Uh,
vacation?
Have I staycationed? Not really. I guess I haven't staycationed. It's on my to-do list, a
Okay.
staycation.
I don't think I would want to do that. I don't. Do you like staying at different places? Like, is that something you like?
When it's short, I do like it just to kind of get out of the routine, But
Hmm.
for like I can imagine like staycationing for like a week. Like that sounds dreadful.
Oh man, I can't wait to get home down the street.
Yeah.
Do you have pets?
I do. I have one crazy dog named McBain.
That's a great name. We have a bunch of
Thank you.
dogs, and anytime we've gone on vacation, I never enjoy myself because I'm so stressed about what's going on with the dogs at home. I
Oh
I
yeah.
I don't know if people I don't know how people with pets enjoy vacation. It's just a nightmare to me.
Well, do you take them with, or is that also a
No,
nightmare?
we don't take them with.
No.
Uh, One of them is so afraid to leave the house that he just can't. He doesn't go on walks. He'll go in the
Oh, geez.
backyard, but that's it. He's a rescue dog. He's just full of anxiety. And the other dog,
My dog is similar.
I have another dog. I have taken on one trip with me, a road trip, but I
Mhm.
had to pump him with a bunch of medication because
Sounds
he
right.
gets
Uh-huh.
so sick when driving that he just vomits like the whole time. So I had to like not feed him for the whole day and like give him all this
Oh,
anti-nausea medication. And
so he has nothing to throw up.
I drove him from San Antonio to Indiana, and that was a fucking crazy drive. Um,
That's rough.
but yeah, usually, I mean, I don't go on a ton of vacations. I've gone on a few, and we didn't really take the dogs, and it's not.
Like,
It's a really stressful time.
yeah, I would say like even when I'm doing like dog friendly like hotels or like like Airbnbs or that, not I'm doing those anymore because I have them too. But I'm always worried about my dog like chewing on everything and anxiety because he's an anxious chewer. So
Yeah,
that's another reason to have that all that stuff be a nightmare because it's just yet another thing to worry about. Yeah. So I've had to move across the crunchy twice, and like your dog, he hates being in a car. Like you think he's gonna be murdered or something, so he's shivering the whole time. He won't eat. And yeah, we've packed all our belongings into a car, and he's from both coasts pretty much, and like he would just like be a shell of himself, unfortunately, being stuck in the car for God knows how many hours.
yeah. Oh man. When I took my dog on that trip, he um he vomited once, but it was in Dallas. So he made it all the way to Dallas and we were in gridlock traffic and I had him in a dog seat in the front seat next to me because he
Mhm.
has to be touching me like the whole time or he's like he
Makes
freaks
sense.
out. And
Yeah,
suddenly he just leaned over and just began vomiting in the empty cup slot between us. And
there's a place to do it.
he stopped once the vomit reached the like the top of the cup slot. It didn't overspill. He perfectly just filled it. And that was the only time he got sick. But he's doing this, and I am just stuck in the middle of Dallas downtown traffic, watching him, unable to do anything. It was
A portable
horrific.
vomit. Oh my
Talk
God.
about vacation hell. Doesn't get more
Yeah, like
horrifying
that
than
sounds like
that.
something you could mine right there for a store.
Add it to
Like
Lost Lake. It's only any
maybe
dogs in
I'll
this
find a slot
comic?
for that.
Yeah,
No dogs in the comic, but man, maybe I need to add.
gotta add a dog. Hatchet
That sounds
Man.
horrific.
The hunter
Yes,
should have a dog.
maybe
The
he
dog
can
should have
use
a
it to
hatchet.
hunt. The dogs should have a hedge like that. Just tape
Yeah.
it to his paws.
You ever see those Halloween costumes with dogs dressed like Chucky? They had like the knife in the.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
There you go.
that could be what's going on. I mean, free
Writes itself.
idea. You can take it. Don't no need to credit me. Anyone who
Thank
listens
you.
to the podcast, they will know though. And they will leave
That's a
bad
Max Fifth original
reviews.
right there.
Why
Well,
didn't you
that's
credit
definitely Max.
Max? Um,
It has Max written all over it. Come on.
I was trying to think of like tropes and also like movies when it comes to like vacations. And I kind of realized
Mhm.
vacations happen in a lot of horror movies. It's like one of the
They
most
do.
popular things that go on.
It
I
is.
stopped listing movies because I could have just kept going. What are some of
You
your
really could.
favorite ones?
Yeah, they're like you said, too many. But I would say The Ritual is a newer one that definitely kind of really closely aligns to Lost Lake when you think about it. You
Oh,
got this group of friends in some creepy woods, and things start to go really weird for them as they find some ritualistic weird stuff in the woods.
that's also a
You're
great book. I don't know if you've read it by Adam
no, I didn't know it
Neville.
was a book. Oh,
Really great
and that's
book.
my list. Jeez, I didn't know it was a book. You got Cabin in the Woods, which gets really freaky and is amazing, and
Yeah,
I love that movie. And that's
yeah.
another good. And that again starts pretty similar to Lost Lake with the mixed friend group going into a cabin in the woods. So that's some good tropey inspiration right there for sure.
Yeah. I mean, have you stayed at a cabin before in the woods?
I have,
Oh
yes.
shit, how was that? I haven't.
Uh,
I've avoided that.
it was like pretty modern, so like no, not too creepy, And
Okay.
then to be fair, the woods might have been a bit of a stretch. It's like more of a, I don't know, like not farmland, but I don't know. I wouldn't call it the real woods, so I might be cheating.
Do they
It
have
was definitely
trees?
clamping. There were trees. There were lots of trees, and it got dark at night. But
Let me ask
to
you a
call it the woods is a
question.
little bit of a stretch.
Let
Yeah,
me ask you, how do you define
yeah.
woods? What's the
That's a
definition of
great
woods?
question, honestly. Yeah, I would say maybe it needs more what's the word? Like unpaved roads. So in that respect, I would say I wouldn't quite call it the woods because there's a lot of paved roads to get to the cabin itself.
Okay.
What do you think? Well, how would you define the woods?
Just a bunch of trees. If I see like you milled in 10 trees, I'm like, oh fuck,
More
it's the
trees, that's the
woods.
woods.
I don't know. I've never thought
Like,
about it.
imagine you in yeah, Washington or Oregon. Oh, Portland, this is the woods. Look at all these trees.
Can't get out of these woods.
Yeah. Everything is the woods when you're out of Texas. Oh shit, this is the
I don't I don't mess around with the woods in Texas. When I recall fondly of growing up in Indiana and I spent so much
Mm,
time in the woods. I would not do that in Texas because like the difference is in Indiana, if you walk around in the woods, you're not going to step on something that might just end your life, you know? In Texas,
no.
yeah,
Yeah, a lot of
rattlesnakes,
poisonous. Yeah,
scorpions, other things probably.
for sure.
Maybe threats like that did exist in Indiana. Not rattlesnakes,
Road backs
though.
the balls. Can't think of anything else in Indiana.
Rogue basketballs. We joke, but that 9 children die every year from rogue basketballs. That's a
Gotta be careful.
fact.
Yep.
Um, okay, so I have on my list. Obviously, we have the Evil Dead movie. It's all about a
Oh
cabin
yes.
in the woods. Um, as you said, Hostel. I think you said that. Maybe.
I didn't
Okay.
mention Hostel. That's a good one. That's I mean
Okay.
that's a great one.
I sound like a shady psychic. Did I feel hostile from the crowds?
Yeah, there you go. Turn H, Sean.
Wrong Chillin' was one I was obsessed with a lot as a kid, and that is all
Wrong Turn. I've
in the
never
woods.
seen that, but that popped up in my research. Yeah, that's one I also have to check out.
I almost said great movie, but honestly, I haven't seen it since I was like 11. So, I mean, I don't know. It might not be a great movie. One I recently saw, and most people seem to hate this movie, but I'm a
Okay.
sucker for his movies, and that's M. Night Shyamalan's Old. Have you seen that?
Old. I've seen Old. Yes.
What did you
I'm
think?
also a sucker for some M Night, and
Okay.
I think all guys are on vacation, and some horrific things are happening on this vacation, sadly. So that's a good one.
That movie is
It's a good
so
pull.
funny. It's just
It's a
it,
great. It's a fun watch. It's a fun
I
watch.
I I avoided it for some reason just because I fell for the trap of believing reviews. And despite the fact that I
Mm,
usually enjoy his movies, and I finally watched it like
same.
last year and I fucking loved it so much. It was so much fun. Um
Yeah.
Also going to like another like island type of movie, Brandon Cronenberg's Infinity Pool. Did
Mm,
you see that?
I did not see Infinity Pool, but Miguel's been yelling at me to watch some more Cronenberg. So
Uh,
Infinity Pool is definitely one I need to check out.
it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Same with like Midsummer,
Oh yeah,
which
Midsummer. That's a great one.
I love that. And And one that I didn't think was a vacation movie, and it just I was like Googling like vacation movies like frantically before we
Mhm.
began to see if
Of
anything
course.
came up that couldn't think of. From
Yeah.
Dusk Till Dawn is a vacation
That's
movie. It's about the
yeah.
family in the fucking Winnebago going someplace, I don't know. And they
Yeah.
get hijacked by the two bandit brothers, the wet
Yeah.
band, not the wet bandits. I don't know what the name's real.
That'd be impressive. That would be a good crossover.
Really different movie if it was Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern
Yeah. Oh my God. I
in
might
the
pay to
Titty
watch that.
Twisters fighting vampires. That'd be great.
That's a good pull.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Ruins?
Yes, I have. Also a good book.
Yeah, I read the book before I watched the movie, and yeah,
What's
I
his
enjoy
name?
both. The movie a little bit more.
What's the guy's name who wrote that? Do you recall?
And rapidly Google
He wrote two books only. The
Michael.
No, it's not Michael.
No, sorry, Scott Smith.
Scott Smith. So he wrote
That's a
The
hard name to remember.
Ruins and a
Mhm.
book called A Simple Plan, which was adapted into a movie by Sam Raimi. Both will just
Yeah.
incredible books, also incredible movie adaptations. And it's so frustrating to me that he hasn't written anything else since then. He just kind of
What is
dipped.
he doing?
I think he
It's like,
maybe
yep,
got
my work here is done.
my thought is, and this I think this happens to a lot of people, like say Gillian Flynn. It's like get really
Mhm.
popular, and then they get sucked into
Yeah,
Hollywood, pitching things and writing things that never will get made.
right. That's yeah, the worst.
The Ruins is a lot of fun though. I would
Yeah, that's
hate
such a fun read.
I would hate that to happen to me.
Yeah, it would
Yeah.
for all of that to happen.
That's,
Ooh, man, what a story. That was a great story.
I I remember reading that book when I was a teenager. I was living in a hotel and I read that in just one night, just freaking the hell out. I got it like at the library or something and no idea what it was about. It just had a cool cover. I think it was a black cover with like just huge text.
Mhm.
It was just great. The movie, yeah, from my recollection, the movie was pretty good too, right?
Yeah, the movie was like a little campy, but I think it was still really enjoyable. I think it was a solid. I mean, not amazing, but like a solid adaptation.
Yeah. Also Tuckle and Dale, versus Evil. That I mean,
Oh
this
yes, that's a favorite. Tucker and Dale
if
for
you ever
sure.
want to like analyze the tropes, like that's the best movie to
Yeah, that's
watch.
the
You,
movie for yep.
it's like Scream for vacation movies. Like they
Yeah.
have. It's been a while since I've seen it though, but like I definitely recall the stopping at the Shady gas station scene that's like in the
Hmm.
beginning. Do you have a
I
Shady
also
gas
do that.
station?
I have a shitty gas station.
Hell
I think I
yes.
directly lifted it from Tucker and Dale.
Hell yeah. What's shady about your little gas station? Any specific thing?
So the gas station itself isn't shady, but like they kind of got the like this guy who is shitty and shady looking, and he's shitty and shady looking in a way that's different than where the plot takes us. You know, it's like he's a run of your mill shitty guy, you know,
Yeah.
versus a murderer, or at least what I lead you to believe anyway. But yeah, like I definitely was heavily influenced by that, where it's like, hey, like you're this kooky, weird, backcountry guy, like don't listen to him. I mean, I'd fully go that route, but yeah, I love that scene.
But you know, it's a trope for a reason. I've done lots of road
Yeah.
trips and I've stopped at many odd gas stations and there's always some crazy shit going on.
Yeah.
Do you have any specific memories of like road trips or any type of traveling on vacation? Will something strange or shady happen to you that like kind of stands out as like a, oh, this could have been in a horror movie?
Not necessarily strange or shady, but I will say maybe terrifying. Like I said, so I'm originally from Maryland. I moved to San Diego years ago, but moving across the country with the dog in the car, and we're basically towards the end of our trip. Like we're in Julien, California, which is not too far from San Diego, and middle of the night trying to get our driving done to finish for the night. and we're like on a really windy mountainside road with no guardrail. Like we don't need a guardrail. Guardrail is a suggestion. So like I'm on a very unfamiliar road, traveling up a mountain, just trying not to die. And like there's a guy like behind me, like apparently he's a regular, like going mad fast and like waiting for my last getaway. And I basically slow down to let him go past. I'm like, I really felt like I could have died on that trip, and luckily I did. I'm like, really, are guardrails like? Yeah, I'm like, you don't always need them like that. It's like, I think we
Wow.
need more guardrails, maybe America.
Yeah, you get those locals who are so used to that road, they just go as
Hmm.
fast as they want and with
Not me. I'm
no
going as
consideration.
slow as
Yeah.
legally possible.
And did you have like was it like a huge drop off on the road?
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah, huge
yeah.
drop offs, just like so lots of twisting and turning where it's just like it kept going. It's like I'm like
How
white
is that
knuckling the steering
allowed?
wheel, just like waiting for it to be over. Like it felt like I was like going on this path for 15, 20 minutes. I'm just like, when is it going to end? I need to stop moving this car. I need to be firm, like not driving. I'm done driving. And like, of course, it's like the very end of the trip. Like if I had known before, like, no, I would have stopped for the night before we had
Yeah.
hit up that mountain. It was awful.
Mountains are crazy to drive on. I've done two trips to West Virginia, and my God,
Mm,
those mountains are nuts. They're really beautiful to see like in the daytime, but if you
yeah,
get stuck at
right.
night, it's
Daytime.
hell. It is so
Yep.
terrifying. Oh,
Yep.
the only thing for me that comes to mind is something I think I've maybe have
Mm,
talked about in the podcast before, but I'll briefly go through it. My family
yeah.
and I, we went back to Indiana because my stepkid was competing in like national batons rolling, and my
Hmm.
in-laws rented this house that we all just stayed in for the week. And it was one of those it's one of those places like just someone rents the house, like it still just had stuff in it like condiments and clothes and paintings and so on. And
Yeah.
I was snooping through one of the rooms and I found this box in the closet that had just like bullets in it and just photos of a naked woman. I was like, "Oh God,
Okay.
why is this still in this house? Seems
Whoa.
odd to just leave this."
Yeah. A little bit.
I bring that up because later that night, it's like it's in the woods in Indiana because there's a few
Okay.
trees at least,
Yeah.
and
At least. At least
long
six.
driveway, really long driveway, pitch black, no lights until these headlights show up at the edge of the driveway, and I walk out to see what's going on because everyone else is like, we're not going out. And I don't know why I'm the one who goes. I'm
Yeah.
standing on this deck that surrounds the house. I'm trying to see, but the headlights were kind of blinding me. And then suddenly, in the pitch blackness, I hear this woman's voice just going, "Give me back my son." Give me back
What?
my son.
Are you
And
serious?
yeah, and finally she like shows herself. She gets close enough. Just this woman who's just telling me to give
Yeah.
her back her son. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. We rented this place. And finally she leaves without really saying anything else and drives away. And we call up
Okay.
the people who rented us the house, who are like these two older people. And they explain that was most likely the daughter-in-law who was in jail and just got out and was looking for the full son that they and their own son, who's the father of the kid, took someplace else. Would have been great
Hmm.
knowledge to have
Yeah.
at a time.
Dear
But it
God.
was in the moment though, just a woman's creepy voice saying, "Give me back my son" in pitch darkness.
Terrifying.
I was like, this is what it feels like before you get slashed.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. That actually, for some reason, made me think of something I forgot. Before I moved here to San Antonio, gosh, what, like almost, I think 4 years ago now. I was with like my best friend and my brother-in-law. They helping me move to San Antonio. So we're in Kansas City, and we stopped in like a random hotel. And so I'm asleep. People can't see us because this podcast, but I wear glasses and I'm very blind. And I have my dog with me, the very anxious dog who can be a little threatening, but he's a baby. He's like a boxer pit bull mix. And we're sleeping. I think it's around like 1, maybe 2 o'clock in the morning. And she starts screaming, like blood curly screaming. And we're like, what is that? What's going on? And like, should we look? Like, no, don't look. And it's screaming, like you're screaming. I'm like, I don't know, like, is someone in danger? Should we go look? And so like I grab my dog and I don't get my glasses and I like kind of peek out into the hallway to see, and I don't see anything. And it seemed like the screaming had stopped. But I'm like, what the heck is that? Like they don't know what it is, so we can't tell. So I go back and I start to lay down. Like maybe like 20 minutes later, the screaming starts again. And like at this point, I'm kind of worried for the screamer. I can't tell what's going on, but it's like a woman's voice. So I put my glasses on and I go down to lobby and they can't tell what's going on. No one can tell what's going on. A couple people gotten up. No one can tell what the screaming was. No one knows what it was. And so I go back to bed. We just never knew what the screaming was. I tried looking in the news
Oh
later,
God.
never knew what the screaming was. Yeah, so I don't know if someone's like having night terrors or if it's like something darker, but I never forgot what the screaming was. I was like, that still like
But
comes to
it
mind from time to
haunts
time.
you
And that
to
was,
this day.
yeah, horrifying. Yeah.
One
Like
day
I
you're
hope
gonna
that person's
find
okay.
out. One day you're
Yeah,
gonna
I
find out
hope
what the
they're
screaming
okay.
was, and that's gonna be the last day you live.
Yeah. I guess so.
Pretty spooky. Let's
Yeah.
talk about before we leave. What are the
Hmm.
stretch goals, or what are you filling on the crowd campaign with Lost
Yeah,
Lake?
for stretch goals, if we do get to that level, will be mainly just to fund the next book. So it will most likely lower the cost of the next book. So like right
Okay.
now, the cost is like 3,500. So anything I get over our current goal will be to like lower the cost of the next book, lower, yeah,
Yeah, and you
pay
have
the crowd pretty
like
much. It's
people can
a pretty lean campaign.
they can get the ebook, they can get the paperback, and I
Yep.
think I saw you like a
Yep.
Valiant cover as well, which is really cool
Yes,
looking.
there's an awesome variant cover by, I can't remember her name. Butcher her name, but yeah, there's a super awesome variant cover that is available at a $20 tier. Let's see if I can remember her name. She's a really awesome artist. All right, Saleha Chowdhury, who did also like the main cover, like people really like, and just always stop and compliment the main cover, which I think is incredible. But yeah, also I saw Saleha Chowdhury's art, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want you to do something, and she did, and it's incredible. So yeah, definitely check that out
You
as
gotta get
well.
them both. You
And
just have to back
yeah, or get them
both.
both. There's also a
Yeah.
tier, so get them both. And I believe, is there any left? Yeah, there's still a digital commission tier. So if you want some art by Bugra, you could also get a digital commission as well. And if you
Oh,
just, hey, I've never heard of me and you want to get all my stuff and not just Lost Lake, there's a physical bundle tier. So you can get Savage Wizard, which is like a action comedy thing I do, or you get Head Cases, which is like a crime thriller. My silly comic Ghost Gauntlet, which is like about a girl who dies. It's not just a way to heaven. So yeah, you got lots of fun stuff. You can grab it.
hell yeah.
Several different tiers.
I'll have a link to it in the show notes. Also, where can people find you online? Do you have like a website, a social media handles?
Yeah, I have a janky website, lesswrite.com. I'm probably gonna tear it down, but I'm everywhere online. LESWRIT. So X, or sorry, at that Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram LES underscore WRIT. But everywhere else, I'm Less Right. So that's the easiest way to find me. Less Right. Or yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Any before we go, any vacation tips for anyone listening?
You can never plan for horrible murders, but I would say bring comfortable shoes. That's your best plan of action. Comfortable shoes and maybe like an extra portable charger for your phone, so you can't say, "Oh, my phone died." So those are my best tips for vacations.
For the love of God, if you go to a gas station, be nice to the employees.
Be nice, yeah, because that could definitely stab you in the back. So be nice for sure. Always be nice.
And that was Leslie Julien talking about Vacation Hurl, promoting his new comic, Lost Lake. It's almost at its goal, folks. Please click the link in the show notes. Go back it. We want to see indie comics succeed. in the fucking universe, but they so often do not, thanks to these huge corporations who have no issues just using the grossest AI slop imaginable. No AI in Lost Lake, and that's a great thing to celebrate. Indie comic book writing, indie comic book illustrating, indie comic book publishing, folks. Lost Lake, Leslie Julien, go back it. And if you want to pick up my new novel, I Believe in Mistral Bones, it's out now. You can get a signed copy from the Ghoulish website, ghoulishbooks.com, ghoulish.lip, RIP. Either place, it's going to take you to the same place. It's all one website. I'll sign a copy, mail it to you, then you read it, and you either go, haha, that was a great book, and you leave a review, or you go, I didn't like that book so much, and maybe you don't leave a review, you know? And also maybe you review the podcast, Ghoulish, on iTunes, and I don't know any other place you can review podcasts, but I bet you those places. The podcast is back. Let's celebrate that by leaving some reviews, celebrating, rejoicing the return of Ghoulish.